Okay, let's dive into this. If you've ever felt like you're just kind of chasing that first-time high, well, today we're going to break down something called the Newbie Protocol. And trust me, it's this really fascinating, science-backed way to not just reset your tolerance, but also to seriously reclaim your health. I mean, think about it for a second. We all remember that first time, right? That one single hit that felt like it lasted for hours, like everything was a kaleidoscope. It's that powerful, almost, yeah, magical first experience that so many of us end up chasing. But, over time, that magic just seems to fade. And it takes more and more just to feel, well, anything at all. And here is the most important thing I want you to get right off the bat. If this sounds like you, it's not some kind of personal failing. Seriously, you haven't lost the magic. It's just buried under a completely normal biological process. And the best part? It's totally reversible. So, let's get into the science of this whole burnout thing. It's actually pretty simple. Why exactly does your tolerance build up? And why do you find yourself using more just to feel less? Okay, so it all comes down to these tiny little things in your body called CB1 receptors. The best way to think about them, like you see here, is as little docking stations. When THC enters your system, it has to connect, or dock, with these receptors to produce any effect at all. They are literally the gatekeepers for the entire experience. Now, this slide just nails the explanation. On the left, you see what happens with constant use. Those docking stations get totally overwhelmed, saturated, and they actually start to retreat to protect themselves. But look at the right side. When you give them a break, they repair themselves and come back online, ready to work super efficiently again. And, according to this receptor fatigue theory, this isn't just about feeling weaker effects. In some really chronic cases, it's suggested that this constant saturation, especially with the receptors in your gut, could even trigger more serious problems like Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, or CHS. So the big question is, how do we fix it? Well, this brings us to the core of this whole explainer. A simple, totally doable weekly plan that's designed to get those receptors rested, reset, and ready to go. So here's the game plan. It's called the 5-2 resensitivity cycle, and it is incredibly straightforward. During the week, Monday through Friday, just 2 simple rules. First, nothing before 5 p.m. Second, when you do use, you only use half of what you normally would. Then comes the most important part, the weekend. That's your reset fast, 48 hours of total abstinence. So why 48 hours? Is that just a random number? Nope. Turns out, research shows this is the magic window. It's during this 2-day break that your CB1 receptors start their fastest and most significant recovery. They literally journey back to the surface of your cells, effectively resetting your whole system for the week ahead. And hey, for those of you who want to take it a step further, the protocol suggests doing a full 7-day deep clean maybe once every 3 months. This can reset your tolerance to a level that's pretty darn close to your baseline. Back when you first started. Okay, so we've covered the biology. But what does this actually mean for you in the real world? This isn't just about feeling better. It's about some serious, tangible benefits to your experience and, as we're about to see, your wallet. I mean, it's a really powerful question to ask yourself, isn't it? When your receptors are fatigued, a huge chunk of what you're consuming is basically going to waste because your body just can't process it. So where's all that money going? And this chart just lays it out in black and white. Based on some estimates, you can see that typical heavy use can easily run up to $3,000 a year. But just look at the difference when you follow the Newbie Protocol. Because you're using about half the product, you cut the cost right in half. So yeah, let that number sink in for a second. $1,500. That's a potential savings of $125 every single month just by being more intentional and letting your own biology work for you instead of against you. But honestly, it's not even just about the money. The quality of the experience itself completely transforms after that 48-hour reset. Remember that kaleidoscope feeling? Well, the signaling pathway is clear of all that background noise, so colors really do seem brighter. Music feels so much deeper, and all those therapeutic effects get amplified. You're getting the absolute maximum return on your investment. All right, finally, let's talk about how to optimize this whole thing even further. Once your system is all resensitized, you can use what the source material basically calls a biological cheat code to really fine-tune your experience. This is where something called terpenes come in. They're these aromatic compounds you can find in tons of plants, including cannabis, of course, but you can also get them from really common foods. They work together with cannabinoids to either boost or steer the effects. It's a process called the entourage effect. And this table right here is pretty much your practical guide, your cheat sheet. For example, eating some mango about 45 minutes beforehand can help everything hit faster and a little bit harder. Or if you're ever feeling a bit of that jagged anxiety, just chewing on a couple black peppercorns can really help smooth things out. It's all about using everyday foods to actively customize your own experience. And that brings us to the final question, which I think really reframes this whole conversation. Are you just using or are you optimizing? This whole protocol is about making that shift from just passive consumption to active optimization, using your own biology to get way better results, save a ton of money, and get your health back on track. Really, the choice is yours.